So there was a recent Los Angeles Times article that came out about Mexicans being fed up by all the gringos that are moving into their country. They were leaving flyers like, if you're working remotely, you are an effing plague. Go home. We effing hate you. This was literally a flyer that was being distributed around Mexico City, according to the Los Angeles Times. And many Mexicans are up in arms about the gringo invasion of their country. Why are people moving here? Because it is cheaper, because the people actually care about family. There are more conservative values here. You do not see many Mexican homeless. I'm not saying that there aren't any where I am in Puerto Vallarta and elsewhere in the country, but it's in stark contrast to California because there is a value that family take care of each other, and the families here are far larger than the United States. Mexico, it appears to be, for the 5 months that we've been here, a superior place to live because I am one of these Californians that moved to Mexico, although albeit via a very circuitous route, not directly from California, but from other countries. There's also a certain amount of freedom here. So you'll find a lot of Canadians specifically that have come here that were trying to abstain from getting the vaccine and up in arms about Justin Trudeau's vaccine mandates and the heavy hand of government entering into private lives. So you will find many Canadian citizens here. And yes, people are moving here because it is cheap. You can buy the same comparable house in a big city in the United States for about 1/3 of the price. And we're talking about a magnificent property. If you are, in the high six figures, you're getting a really, really nice house, as opposed to Los Angeles, where that essentially would get you a starter house. So the quality of life here is much better. You can hire people for much, much less, which of course raises wages here and basically is osmosis as you remove the barriers to money moving around, those with a high concentration of wealth, those areas will be transferred because this is the nature of the world, and the wages will come into equilibrium. This is bad for the lower classes in the United States, but good for most people in Mexico. So for example, I've been able to hire some Mexican workers, and I don't mean that as a pejorative, as many of you wokies might accuse me of. No, I mean these are actual Mexicans, and I'm in Mexico, and I consider myself at this point a Mexican because I have residence here, and I'm gonna wear a sombrero, and I don't want anybody to accuse me of being one who culturally appropriates. Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to wear a sombrero and eat tacos because I am Mexican, wokies. Yes, and nevertheless, the fact that the Mexicans here are complaining about the rising costs of rent and food and other things, well, of course, that's partly a function of the world and the fact that you are raising fuel prices all around the globe because of the Biden administration's enforcement of global warming and whatever woke nonsense that they are uttering, sacrificing today's poor at the altar of tomorrow's possible poor. But the fact is that they are complaining about a gringofication of Mexico. And it's in stark contrast to all of the woke people calling out those who are complaining or saying that maybe such rapid change in the United States is not necessarily a good thing, and it happens in country after country. So no matter what you think about it, this is a common human response as different cultures come into their country and slowly change it. It ebbs, it flows, and sometimes it continues to go in one direction. And as the world becomes more and more homogenous, as Hollywood takes over, as one language, primarily English, takes over the world, and as we become more and more mixed skin color wise, as we mate across culture and ethnicity, this is happening around the world where we are becoming more and more of one homogenized type of people. I don't know whether this is something to celebrate or whether it's just the natural occurrence as these things take place. But once again, you remove the barriers. So for example, I can work abroad where I am over an internet connection. I don't necessarily have to be in the local office, and I can get work done productively. You remove the barriers, and again, it's osmosis. The concentration of wealth will equilibrate around the world eventually, and Mexico is in close proximity to the United States, and you are seeing the money flow in here, which of course does raise prices for some Mexicans and also raises the demand for labor, as I described earlier, upping the wages of certain people. Guys, That's it for now. My take on Mexico. I'm really enjoying it here, and I think anybody should choose to move here on their own. If you decide to, it's a fantastic arbitrage opportunity versus what you're spending in the United States for the same produce, for the same house. And you can minimize on taxes in this manner as well. Thumb up the video, subscribe, hit the all notification bell. Join me again on these little adventures that we have around the world. richforrichtrek.com, signing off.